Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy of September 2021. We're going to take a look initially at the energies that may surface for the collective, which we're all a part of, and then we'll take a deeper dive into your personal life path number. So let's go ahead and get started. So September is a 14-5 energy, which of course boils down to a 5 energetic cycle. But that 14 is influential, okay? So we need to keep that in mind, and I'm going to touch on the energies of the 14 as we move through the reading. But ultimately, this is a 5 energetic cycle. So we have a 5 universal year that we're currently moving through in 2021. And now that 5 energy is enhanced by a 5 universal month. So we can expect great changes that occur abruptly and without much notice. So if ever there were a time to be flexible and full of grace for self and others, it's during a 5 universal year coupled with a 5 universal month. So buckle up, baby, because it's about to get bumpy. But in a good way. Okay, so things under a 5 energy move very, very quickly because it's a fast-moving energy, right? So you may see incredible shifts and transformations within your life at this time. You may never have even seen these shifts coming, right? They just seem to come out of nowhere. This energy can sort of see people completely uprooting or changing their entire life story within the blink of an eye. This energy can often feel like a sort of greater power or higher power is sort of taking the wheel and taking over, and life is almost happening to you. Generally, where this ride takes you will lead you to the realization of, oh wow, I never would have thought to do that or to be this, but I'm so glad that I did, right? So it's like, again, it's like this higher power swoops in and hits fast forward on the story, and where you end up, you ultimately realize is a perfect place for you at that time, if that makes sense, right? So that realization may take some time to get to, but understand that when these big shifts come in, they come in to assist, not to penalize. This isn't vindictive energy, it's transformational. Both can feel incredibly challenging, right? To go through. So when someone's being vindictive, that's a challenging energy to go through. When you're going through some kind of transformation, that is also incredibly challenging at times. So however, the transformational energy will leave you in a better place from where you started. So you just need to keep that in mind. Whatever challenges you face, whatever you're going through, during this 5 energy that is transformational will leave you in a better place than where you started, okay? Even if it takes a little bit of time. So try not to fight this energy, but rather move with it and work with it the best that you can, okay? So speaking of the 14, remember I said 14 is going to have an influence in this energy because it's the influencing number to the 5. So under the influence of the 14, there's this emphasis placed on modification. So life may feel like it's happening to you at times, but you can always find ways to modify or work with the energy to make it work for you without fighting it. It's very possible that the modifications that come up for you at this time to be explored or, expanded upon are modifications to self, to relationships, to career, and to lifestyle that have needed to be adjusted for a while. So this isn't necessarily going to blindside you or be surprising, although for some people it might be, right? It might be one of those things where you're sort of stuck in your comfort zone, stuck in a relationship that's toxic, stuck in a belief system or a lifestyle that's toxic, and you don't realize that it needs to be modified or changed. So it might blindside you, right? It might come in quite swiftly and abruptly, and those modifications might be made. And again, it could feel like a whirlwind. But for the most part, these are going to be things where you kind of knew, you had some kind of a sense that they needed to go away, they needed to change, they needed to be modified, right? And chances are you've known that for a while. So this sort of double dose of 5 energy this month from the 2021 Universal 5 cycle year, and now this September 5 energy, is simply giving you the gentle shove in the direction you need to be facing, right? So that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. That doesn't mean it's going to be without its challenges. However, the struggles and challenges that you face and overcome during this time, or at least they're initiated during this time, through these modifications, will prepare you greatly for the magnificence you're about to step into, right? So again, it's like, it can feel challenging in the moment, but you just have to keep in mind, why is this happening? Why is this coming in? What is this challenge trying to show me? Try to ask yourself as often as possible, what is this challenge trying to show me? What am I meant to learn? Right? Why is this modification coming in now? Where is it trying to take me to, and why is it trying to move me beyond the space, right? Because there's always going to be, an answer there. There's always going to be wisdom to extract from that experience, no matter how challenging. And oftentimes the more challenging, the more wisdom to pull from it. So it's the wisdom of the experience that we're meant to carry with us, not the experience itself, right? Sometimes we get stuck up on the experience where we're like, oh, that really sucked, and now I'm going to think about it and complain about it and, sort of fret about it for the next 10 years. Whereas really what the universe is trying to get us to do is to extract the wisdom from that challenging experience and move freely forward, as opposed to trying to lug that whole experience with us forward and sort of replay it, rehash it, hold a grudge, whatever the case may be. So this is going to be a really quick moving, fast energy, with a lot of transformations, right? And so through that experience, not only are we meant to move ourselves through it and adapt, but we're meant to pull the wisdom from the experience, okay? So a lot going on this month. It's a very intense month. It's a very intense year, right? So I don't really see things slowing down until we get into 2022 at least, right? So if you're looking for a breather, you're probably not going to get it right away, but that's okay, because we're all in the same boat. This is universal energy, so we're all feeling this, baby. So again, proper handling of this 14-5 energetic vibration can produce great wisdom and understanding in your experience. 5 energy can be that of again, a testing nature. It's going to test us. It's going to sort of force us to take a closer look at the challenge, the situation, the modification, and where can we extract the wisdom. It's what we choose to do with this energy that will ultimately determine our overall experience, not only now, but moving forward. And so again, we have a lot of responsibility, but with great power comes great responsibility. So a 5 energetic cycle is also a perfect time to sort of check in with yourself. This is a checkpoint. See where any imbalances lie. What's working? What isn't? Where do I need to make modifications? What do I need to invest more into? So in numerology, where 1 energy is the beginning or the initiation, and 9 energy the completion or the ending, 5 energy sits in the middle, and it's the checkpoint. It creates the space and the opportunity to make the necessary changes needed before continuing on in the journey, to make certain that the direction we're moving in is the direction we actually want to be a part of, right? You don't want to get all the way to the 9 energy and be like, oh crud, I should have switched directions way back at that 5 energy. And so a lot of times the 5 energy doesn't force our hand. We always have choice, right? But it will make things very challenging or uncomfortable to help you see what you need to see, right? And so think of this as the checkpoint. This is why we can often see so many intense and abrupt changes, occur during a 5 cycle, because some of these changes we choose, Some with, some of those changes are created for us by a higher power, but all serving to keep us aligned with our soul's highest mission in this lifetime. So the ego craves safety, security, comfort, and the known. The soul came here for so much more, right? If something feels as though it's being uprooted now, taken away, or there's a sense of upheaval, understand that true change is messy and chaotic at times, but on the other side of that chaos sits harmony, sits balance. So we can also see this playing out on the world stage quite dramatically at this time. So much change has to happen at this time in history, and it's during a 5 cycle that it can appear to be the most chaotic and the most messy. So by dismantling that which is no longer working, that takes some level of destruction and chaos, right, before the calm can enter. So that which is being dismantled often won't go without a fight, but it'll eventually lose steam and recede, right? And that's kind of, like I said, that's what we're seeing sort of play out on the world stage. We really started to see that in the 4 cycle of 2020. And now it's really coming to accumulation during this 5 cycle of 2021. And so I suspect that in September, we're going to see even greater manifestations of that chaos, of that dismantling, of those changes. Maybe not the change happening right away, but where it's highlighted where the change needs to happen. It becomes the front and center. There's no more denying it, right? So this 5 energy will ultimately teach us that the less we resist the change, the more comfortable the process of the change will feel and become. The more we resist the modifications and try to cling to what's no longer needed or no longer working, especially when it's harmful to ourselves or others, then the messier and the more challenging the experience becomes for all involved. So 5 energy teaches us to be flexible, to be adaptable to the inevitable changes and transformations that, it brings into our lives and that we ultimately face throughout our journeys. So allow September and this 5 energy to show you where modifications are needed within your life. Allow whatever changes that sweep in, to highlight for you where something was no longer working and needed an overhaul. If these changes aren't happening directly to you, perhaps you can hold space for those who find themselves immersed within this 5 energy. Perhaps you'll need to be the one creating the change in another person's experience, right? And so regardless, move as gently as possible and take full advantage of this incredibly transformational energy. It's here to help us with swift precision. So keywords this month to keep in mind as you move through this energy, perhaps it can be your mantra, is modification and adaptability. What do I need to modify and how can I be adaptable through the modification? Because I can almost guarantee that there's going to be a lot of modification either taking place this month or highlighted where it needs to take place. And then we're going to start to see that happening. And so the more adaptable that we can be, the more open we can be to the change, the more comfortable the experience will be, and the more that we will gain from the experience. Okay? All right, let's take a closer look at the life path number. Life path number 6. So I pulled an animal spirit card for you all, and you got pig spirit. And what's coming through with pig is, pigs are very intelligent beings. It's said that they have, they're smarter than 2-year-olds. They're very intelligent, sentient beings. They enjoy the finer things in life, right? They like a good mud bath. They like good cuisine. They like to play in the open fields, right? Unfortunately, a lot of pigs are used for commodities, and so they are, taken advantage of and all of that. But in their essence, they like the simple things in life, but they also appreciate the finer things in life, right? So it's like the nice mud bath, cooling off, taking a nap in the middle of the afternoon, right? And so what I'm really getting with pig spirit, especially coming in for sixes, is to treat yourself, to take the time that you need to pamper yourself, to go to the spa, to go out to dinner, to buy that luxury item that you've been looking at but keep depriving yourself of, whatever the case may be. Or just take some downtime, take a weekend away, whatever calls to you. But I'm just getting this feeling like you all need a breather, like you need some time out. Because the reason why it was interesting with pig spirit and why I brought up about, pigs are, in modern society are used as a commodity and sort of taken advantage of and all of that, is because that can be six energy. Six energy, again, I talk about this so much. Sixes are so nurturing, so loving, so caring. And if you've ever hung out with a pig, they're very loving. They're like dogs. They're like big dogs. And they're real cuddly and nurture, they're just sweet animals. And so they're very sentient beings. And so are sixes. Sixes are very sentient in the sense that they're very nurturing by nature. And they can we talk about this a lot, but they can often sort of overcommit or overcompromise on what they need to serve others or to accommodate what other people want. You know what I'm saying? And so I think sometimes, I know that can burn you out. And so I just feel like pig is coming in to be like, don't forget to take the time out for yourself. Don't forget to treat yourself. Don't forget to treat yourself kindly. Because if you wait for somebody else to do it for you, you're going to be waiting for a while, right? You may or may not get that gratification. And so really do that for yourself. Take the time, spend the money, do whatever it is. If you can afford to do something, then do it. If you can take the time to do something for yourself, then do it. Just getting this sense of you just need a little bit of downtime. You need some me time. And this is going to be a month where things can feel really chaotic. Things can feel hectic. Things can feel like they're falling to extremes. They can kind of feel like there's a lot of sort of upheaval and changes. We talked about that in the intro. And so it's going to be even more important that you follow Pig's advice and take the time out that you need, smell the flowers, right? Just whatever you need to do to sort of rejuvenate your soul or treat yourself, right? To pamper yourself, to make yourself feel special because, you are the love of your own life. And so treat yourself that way. So anyway, very wise words from Pig. So when I look at the month ahead for you all, I broke it down into 4 weeks. This is actually a really powerful month. I see at the very beginning of the month, something around finances really, really strongly for you all. And this could, again, be like you making the decision to splurge on yourself or spend money on yourself or whatever the case may be. But definitely actually seeing for some of you, this could be a pretty big inheritance coming in, large funding coming in. This feels like other people's money sort of coming to you. So if you have clients, you could see an influx of clients. You could get a big promotion. You could sell something that is of value and see a big reward coming around that. But finances are really highlighted this first week. And it does feel, like I said, it doesn't necessarily so much feel about earned income, but but it can be, right? Because even if it's other people's money, if it's a client, they're paying you for a service, but it's their money that they're giving to you, right? So, I just see sort of an influx of resources and money coming into you at this time, and that's going to make you feel good. That's going to make you feel happy, right? What I would say is going back to Pig's message, don't be afraid to use some of that on yourself, right? Don't be afraid to reinvest in yourself. So even if that means taking a class, going to a conference, going on a little vacation, whatever the case may be, if there's something that you've been constantly looking at, you really want, but you keep telling yourself you don't need it, this might be the time to just go and get it and enjoy that feeling you get from that from being able to do that for yourself. But this first week, I definitely see finances. Now, it could go on the other side, although the energy feels really good here. It feels very positive, light, encouraging, supportive. But it could, obviously, this is a general reading, so it could go on the flip side where, you're overspending, or something comes up that needs you to spend a large amount of money, right? Like your refrigerator goes kaput, or your washer and dryer, or whatever, right? Or your car needs to get fixed. And so this could be like an unexpected expenditure that you weren't expecting that actually can put you in a little bit of a pinch. Although, like I said, I'm just not really feeling that. I'm just putting it out there because this is a general reading. But for the most part, I'm getting that this is actually really supportive, like money coming to you, right? Like you attracting money or resources in some way. This could be like somebody gives you land, somebody gives you a car, somebody gives you some kind of resource, right? But regardless, it feels good. So very positive energy at the beginning of the month. And like I said, just don't be afraid to redistribute that money, those resources, and to treat yourself, okay? And so the second week, this is going to be a time where it almost feels like some kind of proposal comes in, some kind of communication, like an offer. And the message really is if you can hold off on giving an immediate response, hold off on that and take some time for contemplation. Go in and see how you really feel about whatever this is before overcommitting yourself. Because sixes, like we talked about, or like we always talk about, sixes can often overcommit themselves because they want to help, right? They want to do the right thing. They want people to feel good type thing. And so a lot of times that comes at the sacrifice of themselves. And so I would say, the offer feels good. The energy around it feels really, really good, but it has to feel good for you, right? So this is going to have to, again, you're going to have to use your own discernment, but I would say take some time to think about it before you give a response, before you say yes, or before you say no. Because it can also be that this is something that comes in and you start to tell yourself you're not worthy of it or you don't deserve it, and you immediately say no. And I think what the message is really saying is, take the time to think about this, to feel into it before you give a response, okay? And you are worthy of whatever it may be, right? If it's good. So when we look at the third week, this is interesting because if there's something that you have felt like things have been kind of going sour or haven't been working or have just been sort of frustrating, I feel like this is going to open up for you in a big way where things start moving again, where it starts feeling more aligned, where maybe you start to feel more supported. The people, the things that you need to do, whatever this is, start to come online and start to assist you in the way that you need to be assisted here. This is kind of like you being the center of attention, though. This is like you being the center of someone's world, of you being the center of somebody's, of like a project where you're like the head of that project. Like maybe, excuse me, maybe you take something over and all eyes are on you now, right? And you just need to know that you are very capable of whatever this is. And there's a reason why you are the center or on center stage at this point, right? And it's because people believe in what you're doing, what you're offering, what you bring to the table, your voice. Whatever this is, you have the potential to make an incredible impact in the world, in your greater community, in your family, whatever the case may be here. But I just kind of see you like stepping up and stepping out in kind of a big way. Like, again, being sort of the center of attention, things really opening up for you. Like the storm parting and the sun coming through. So this is really, again, powerful, beautiful energy for you all. Yeah, and so just, try to step into this energy the best that you can. And this may also be a time where people are coming to assist you in some way or giving you support in some way. And that can feel uncomfortable at times for sixes. So you might have to work through whatever that is and kind of grin and bear it, even if it's uncomfortable, because it's happening for a reason. There's a reason why these people are coming into your sort of sphere of awareness. There's a reason why you are sort of being put on center stage. And this just feels like a really big golden opportunity for you. And again, I would just say don't immediately disqualify it because you don't feel worthy of it, whatever this is. But very, very positive energy. This whole month for you all is very positive. And then we see the fourth week. This is like this energy of like you feeling like you need something more, like something bigger. This could be like if you've been in a relationship for a while and you feel like you're ready to take it to the next level. You are like ready to make a decision. So this might be about having a conversation with your partner, like, okay, I'm ready to take this to the next level. How do you feel about the situation? And if they're not ready to take it to the next level, that might be something you all need to look at, right? But I just get this feeling like there's this energy of like wanting something more, wanting to take things to the next level, and being very like sort of firm in that and making a very sound decision. Like, this is what I want. This is what I need. Can you meet me there or can you not, right? And it doesn't have to be about a relationship and that sort of thing, but it does feel like there's something where it's like you're ready to move on to the next chapter. And if there's anything sort of holding you back, you're kind of stepping into that power of being like, you know, hey, thanks for the ride, but this is where I get out type thing. And it doesn't have to be about relationships. It can be about career or anything. But there's just this feeling of like you needing some space here to expand. Almost like things start to feel a little bit stagnant, and which makes a lot of sense in 5 energy because that's such expansive energy. It's fast moving energy. There's lots of change and flux and transformation. And so you could be internally feeling like, I need something more. I need something bigger. And that can spark the an entire process of figuring out what you need to do to get there, right? So this could be like, maybe you are at an entry level position, which there's nothing wrong with that, but maybe you're at an entry level position and you want more. And that's okay too. And so maybe you have to go back to school for that, or go to get specialized training for that, or, get a mentor or something like that. And so you feel that like desire and that push to expand in some way. And this is where you sort of initiate that process, is what this feels like. Because that's what the energy feels like. And you're kind of like committing and making that decision at this point. And if it is like a relationship and it's like, I want children, I want to be married, and your partner isn't on the same page, this can start to feel a little bit like, okay, then what are we doing? Because we want different things, right? Which doesn't mean either of you are bad people. It just means you want different things. And I think that this is also going to be about you sort of recognizing that there's value in what you want as well, right? And it's okay if it's not aligned with what another person wants, because there's going to be, someone else out there who it will be aligned with. And even if there's not, as long as it's aligned for you, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, it's that kind of energy. I know I'm kind of like spending a lot of time on this, but it just feels like there's something that you feel like has sort of come to either completion or stagnated, or just isn't really serving you anymore, right? Like it needs to either grow and expand, or it needs to come to completion, is what that feels like. And it's you making that decision. So yeah. And it could be anything because it's a general reading, but I definitely see it like you just kind of looking to the horizon, like, I need more. I need something bigger. I feel that pull. And oftentimes when that happens, that's our soul pulling us out of our comfort zone, sort of like begging us to step into the next chapter because we fulfilled, right? We finished this chapter. This chapter is done. It's time to turn the page. And so I feel like for some of you, you're going to have that feeling. And so it's just honoring that And then having those conversations and then just seeing where those conversations take you to. Because they will lead you to where you need to be, but you need to initiate it. You need to start it. You need to honor those feelings that come up for you. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for listening. I hope it's a beautiful September. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.